welcome to my channel. My name is Linda. I've got a lot of crafty fun for us to do today. So what are we waiting for? Let's get started. Today we're going to be working on DIY farmhouse home decor using mostly Dollar Tree supplies. So let's get started with project number 1. For this project, I'm going to use these 2 boards from Dollar Tree. I believe I flipped one over here. Yes, they are a 10-inch long piece of wood. And then I'm also going to use one of these rolling pins. They come in a 3-pack from Hobby Lobby for like $3.99. And I'm just going to use this little piece of wood I had in my supply, but you can certainly use like one of these wood pieces from Hobby Lobby or Dollar Tree and cut it down to size. This little wood piece I'm using is about a 2x3 size. You could also just use a piece of foam board, would work wonderful. And then one of these 3 hearts. At this point I haven't decided which color I'm going to use yet. So I'm going to take this Waverly wax. I'm going to pour it into a little cup here. I'm going to mix it with some water and kind of make it into a stain of sorts. You can make it, the thinner you make it, the lighter it'll go on. The thicker you make it, with the water, the heavier it'll go on. So it's not real thin here. I want it kind of a little bit dark. I end up painting, the whole thing, although we will just kind of cover one side of the board. But after I paint it on, then I come with a paper towel, kind of wipe off the excess, and I'll also use like my heat tool too to dry it pretty fast. And then I'm going to use the same Waverly wax on the center of my little rolling pin here. I love these cute little mini rolling pins. Again, 3 in a pack for like $3.99 at Hobby Lobby. Really affordable, about the same price you get at Dollar Tree, right? If you split them up. And then I'm going to take DIY chalk paint, White Swan, and I'm going to paint the handles of our little rolling pin here. Okay, getting that all finished up. That was a weird kind of silence, wasn't it? I'm not used to having a silence. Everything's ready. I'm going to take my electric sander and distress all the edges for you off camera. Here's what it looks like. Now on this rolling pin, you can kind of see this long flat spot. I sanded that off with my sander so that I want to put this on my sign. It sits nice and flat. If you don't, it's just going to roll right off. So this little flat spot allows it to sit flat. Better for gluing purposes. I'm going to use this paper from Hobby Lobby. Now you can get this in the single sheet section, but if you can also buy it, it's like $6.99 or $7.99 in a 50-pack of the different color wood grain pieces. Here I'm still trying to decide what I want to use for the heart. I'm taking all my pieces to the sewing machine, so I'm using this wood grain paper for the front of the signs, and then I use a piece of brown cardstock and a little piece of wood grain paper for the smaller sign. I kind of double layer that one. Here's what it looks like all sewn. I'll do that to all my papers throughout the projects today. I just use a size 10 or 11 needle. Stitch length on 4. This is a very basic sewing machine. And just sew like it's on regular fabric. And then I'm taking the open end of my scissor blades here and I'm just scraping along the edges to kind of give it a rustic texture. This helps it to kind of not sit so flat on the wood as well. I'll be using Beacon Fabri-Tac glue today to glue everything down. So I'll start on my little sign with this brown cardstock. I cut it a little bit shorter than the sign. And then I'm going to be using this vinyl I cut with my Cricut Explorer 3 machine. So I'm going to put this on the sign. I've got a whole little quote here. I'm kind of starting backwards. Season with joy. This other one says, mix equal parts faith, family, and friends. The next sign will say, bake on love and prayer. So say, mix equal parts faith, family, friends, season with joy, bake on love and prayer. I do have a free printable for you. I'll have that link in the description box. It goes to my blog. The top one is the size I use on these signs. And then I made one down below just a little bit bigger for you. So if you wanted to print that out and use it, you've got this same quote if you don't have an electronic cutting machine. So I'm just getting these pieces onto my paper here. Yeah, that pack of wood grain paper is awesome because you get like 4 different shades, a black, a gray, a dark brown, this lighter brown, 5 different shades, and that really light wood grain color we all seem to use. And I like it. It is only 8.5 by 11, but I do like it because it's really, really thick. It's nice quality kind of cardstock paper. And if $7.99, you wait for it for the 40% off for 50 sheets of paper, that's pretty good. So now I'm just adding this other piece onto that wood, the little small sign, then I'll add these larger pieces onto the bigger signs. There we go. Then I'm going to see where I want this one to glue on here. I thought I'd give it a little bit of a 3D look, so I've just marked it where my pencil so I know where not to put glue. So once I get this glued on, that glue, you know, obviously won't be seen from the back. I started it up right, but then I realized it had to go all the way down to the bottom of that sign there so that you could see the quote on both signs. All right, so the rolling pin, I want to add some twine and a couple of beads here from my supply. I'm going to first just wrap the twine around 3 or 4 times all the way around, just like normal, make a little bow. Okay, but we're going to have to adjust the twine because the twine will inhibit this rolling pin from sitting flat on the wood, right? Remember we made that flat spot there, so we put the twine on it. That just, you know, messes up what we just did. So getting our twine bow on here and then putting a bead on each end and then tying a little knot, cutting off the excess. Just like this, and then we'll adjust the bow, here in just a minute. Okay. First, I also made a little flat spot here on the front just with my little sanding paper. So I have a little flat spot to glue the heart I decided on, which was the pink one. There we go. Now, let's adjust this twine. I'm sorry I'm a little down low, and for some reason my camera wasn't focusing. But really all I'm doing here is I'm just cutting the twine out of the center where that flat spot is that I sanded. And then I'm using some of the Beacon Fabri-Tac glue, and I'm gluing those ends down on either side where, you know, we cut that little section out. That way, this will lay all nice and flat again on our sign, and it'll give us the facade that the twine is wrapped all the way around because it goes just right to the edge there. Look at that. See, it just looks like it's wrapped all the way around. I hope you get a good view of that. Once I glue this on, this project is complete. So let's move on to project number 2. For this project, I am bringing out the paint sticks again. I cut them down, 5 of them, to 12 inches. And then it'll be about 5 inches tall when we put them together. And I just saved a couple of the little excess pieces that I cut off. And you'll need 4 hearts. These are all, came in Valentine's at Dollar Tree, 4 wooden hearts, package of wood hearts. These are 77 cents I got at a home improvement store on clearance. As you can see, you can use regular cup hooks that you can get at Walmart or anything like that. I'm going to go ahead and use some wood glue here, and we're going to wood glue our pieces together. Make a little slat-board sign here, and I will give you an option here coming down the line. You can get paint sticks at, Walmart or home improvement stores or anything like that. I had a very dear friend that gave me a ton of these for free, so thank you, sweet friend. You know who you are. I'm just getting this all glued together. I will clamp them once I get everything into position. These are going and together, and then we'll put the little pieces on the back here, give it a little extra support on the back, just like that. I'm going to bring my ruler in and make sure, sometimes I eyeball, but about 98% of the time I ruler everything and measure it all up. Get these into position. Look at that. Look how just precise I have to be. And here comes my clamps. That's how my brain operates, y'all. And I just let that sit for just a good half hour or so. because it'll continue sitting up. A half hour will give it enough time, you know, stable enough I can start working with it. All right, so here is what it looks like all glued together. What I'll end up doing, I'm going to paint this with DIY White Swan chalk paint. I'll use my hearts here. I've cut out paper for my hearts. I've traced it and cut them all a little bit short to fit the front of my hearts, and I even sewed around the edges and distressed around the edges just like we did with the paper in the last project. I'm also going to use a pre-designed image I got out of Cricut Design Space. I'll make sure I have that number in the description box below for you. But let's take a look at a couple of design options for you. So for your board, remember mine's 5 by 12. These boards that you can get at Dollar Tree are about 5 by 11, so it would work perfectly wonderful. You can, you know, white chalk paint, as I will do here in a little bit, or take the Waverly Antique Wax, mix it with water, do a stain like we did the first project. I've got some already painted hearts, you know, Dollar Tree, Valentine's, boys, stack up in those hearts. You guys know I use hearts a lot. And then you could use a homeward here and place it on there just like that. It would look perfectly cute. Or paint your hearts in black like this. And then what I did is took this white metallic marker from Dollar Tree and did little stitch lines around it. And you could create 4 hearts like that going all the way across. Would look super cute, right? But here's my design. So I'm coming in with my Debbie's Design Diary DIY White Swan chalk paint. It's going on a little thicker than I want, so you're going to see me kind of spray it with some water out of my spray bottle. You know, not a big deal, just because I don't want it on really thick. I am going to sand it, but I still kind of want it to look like a whitewash. So might as well just spritz it a little bit more wet and make the paint go on a little thinner and quicker. Of course, I will sand it off camera, so I'll show you what that looks like coming up here in a little bit. Let's move on to decorating. Now, I did cut a piece of paper to fit the top part of my board, and that's what I'm going to apply this design to. If you want to use a piece of paper at the top and you're using a word look, it looks just as cute. You might want to paint your word black, keep it white or wood color, whatever will work best with your paper design. So I'm going to go ahead and get this Cricut image on there. And then what I'll start on is going ahead and gluing my little hearts papers onto my wood hearts. I do have to say on that image up top, it actually comes vertical from Cricut. I had to kind of cut and slice it to make it horizontal like I have up here. Okay, here's what my board looks like, all distressed and sanded. Really cute. Looks all nice and powdery white, doesn't it? So we'll go ahead and get our design at the top. See, I just did like the top half of the board, maybe a little bit more than half. Go ahead and glue my wood hearts down here at the bottom. And yes, I've already spaced them out and use my ruler. And then my hooks here, remember they were like bronzy, so I spray painted them in white. And then I'm coming in with just a big needle and just kind of hammering a little hole in each one, so, you know, it's a little pinhole, so it's easier to go ahead and get this in. Here's some cup hooks if you want. I think you can buy them in white. I think this was I had spray painted from another project, and I'm going to go ahead and twist my little hooks into this. And then, of course, this is going to be a key holder you can hang on your wall by your door, so you have a cute little decoration. As you come in the door, you've unlocked it and hang your keys up. You know where to find them every single time. Once these hooks are in, this project is complete. So let's move on to our last project, number 3. For this project, I'm going to use the Sweetest Honey set from Reneabouquets.com, the word sweet. I'll have the link in the description box for you. And these are just some plastic letters out of my supply. These are what they look like. Find them in the scrapbooking section. Or you could use sticker letters in place of this from Dollar Tree. And these are just some other letters from my supply. I've got a couple options for you. These are what I originally bought. Again, scrapbooking section. Or you could use like these plastic letters from Hobby Lobby. In any case, I'm going to spray paint them all in this flat black. I'm going to use this mini cutting board from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use these. I got at Hobby Lobby. They're like little holders. I don't know what they're called, but something for feet. You could use like these little knobs or anything, or even little Jenga blocks. Anything for feet. I am going to use a couple Jenga blocks, one from Dollar Tree, the little one, and the bigger one from an actual Jenga game. And one of these signs I've cut down here. I've cut just about 2 or 3 inches off of it, and then I'll use a little red heart. Again, from Dollar Tree. Now I'm going to take some wood glue here, and I'm going to go ahead and put the little feet on. You could even use like little square wood blocks or large round beads if you want to put feet on it. And I'm just going to put the wood glue on these and get them into position, and I'm going to let that set up for quite a little while here before I start painting on it. We're just going to do a little riser here for like a tier tray, or just to sit, not even on a tier tray, just in like a cute ensemble of home decor, but it's going to hold a candle. And it's just my take on it, you know, having some fun with it. Get the feet on there. Perfect. Going to use Dixie Belle chalk paint in the color drop cloth for my project. So what I'm going to do is set that on here to let that wood glue set, and while it's setting on there, I'm going to paint my other wood pieces with it. But the heart I'm going to leave red just how it came in the package. Yeah, I found a box of Jenga blocks, regular Jenga game, at a garage sale for like $1, and I was like, wow, I was so used to the size of these small Dollar Tree ones, I didn't realize how big those things really were. So that is all set up. I'm going to come in here after I've painted those other pieces, let this sit up for a while, of course, and start painting on my cutting board. Don't have to paint the whole thing on top. We'll cover that up, but definitely I want to go around the sides and, of course, paint the whole bottom so it's all nice and finished. And everything I'm going to do on here, of course, you don't have to do. I've distressed around the edges, you can see here. I just want it to look all farmhousey. I mean, you can just kind of leave it plain if you want. What I'm going to show you, you get these in the scrapbook section. This is a bunch of them together, but you get a thing of all these different kinds of journaling cards for scrapbooking, and that's what these are, little journaling cards. And then they usually sometimes will come, you get all different sizes and color. Like I said, this is a bunch of them mixed together. And they'll even come with ephemera. I had a question what ephemera is. Ephemera is little tags and hearts and quotes and things like that. So, you know, you can look for packages like that just by themselves versus coming with journal card. And then I have a little envelope here. They came in a package of envelopes and tags. So I've cut one of those little journal cards to fit the front of my tag or front of my envelope, and another little journal card I've cut up to put there. And then this is a little piece I cut off the end of a sheet of paper where it has like the UPC. It had a cute little name of the paper. You could use stickers. These are stickers from Hobby Lobby in the scrapbooking section, you know, and put a cute little sticker here. That's an option for you. I'm going to show you how to make one of these envelopes, okay? If, you know, you don't want to go out and buy a package of envelopes and tags. I'm going to show you the easy way. This envelope has the inside, they're like folded in, the flaps. We're not going to do that. If you want to make your own envelope, you don't really need to. You're just going to fold it up, whatever size you want, fold it up, the size to fit like that little board. And then some decorative scissors. These were just the first ones I grabbed. I know Dollar Tree has decorative scissors, so you cut across the edge. Add a little glue on the shorter half of the envelope on each side only, not in the center, and then glue it together, and now you have a little envelope. Super cute, even out of that, you know, wood paper that you can get from Hobby Lobby. Okay, just wanted to show you how to do that. So I've got my papers all sewn and ready to go for my little cutting board. I'm going to show you how to put the pocket together. I've also cut a piece of paper to fit each side of the little teeny tiny Jenga piece or tumbling tower block game piece. Right, so we're going to work on the envelope. I want to show you the start to finish in case you want to do all of this. Of course, you don't have to. You can just leave the top paper covered and that's it, and add the little letters and call it good. I just wanted to add a little design concept on top. Of course, I've sewed around this piece. I'm going to sew around the other little journaling tag here. Get these sewn first. And I'm going to distress around the edges again, open my scissor blades, distress around it. It's going to go in the envelope like this. See, but before I do that, I want to sew my envelope as well. So I'm going to sew around the entire perimeter of the envelope. I think this sewing just gives it lots of detail. Okay, got that done. And now I want to place my little journaling tag inside, because I still want to sew across that top flap. Add a tiny bit of glue here and sew across that top flap after you've put the piece of paper in, because if you sew across it before, you're not going to get that piece of paper in there, right? So a little something to keep in the brain. Perfect. This is what it looks like. Right? The stress around the edges of this one. We'll go ahead and get this glued on top of our envelope. And again, you could skip this whole part and just, if you want to use that extra board, cover it, piece of paper, and not even do this part, or don't even use the extra little board on top. So I'm just gluing this little strip down, and I'm going to use just a little paper clip there. And then I'm going to add glue to the whole thing and glue it to the top of this board. And then we'll add our paper, main paper that goes on the cutting board, and the little papers that go on our little Jenga block. I'm just adding a fun little twist to this. But again, you could leave it as plain as you want. And then I'm going to glue this whole ensemble on top. And now I'm going to place my little blocks on the handle, kind of at an angle. Here's my letters and words all spray painted in black. Haven't taken it off the tape here yet. And I'm going to glue my little Jenga block at a slant on top of the larger block to make room for the letters, the smaller home letters. Okay, so we'll get this whole ensemble glued down. And then I'm going to glue this sweet word on the front of the larger Jenga block. And then the little home letters, I'm going to glue that on top of the smaller Jenga block. And here's where you could just use letter stickers, would fit fine. I've kind of cut out the gluing process a little bit so you don't have to sit me watch put glue on my letters. But I just wanted to look pretty from the side as well as the top. So we've got home sweet, and then we'll start gluing our letters on the bottom. I even use a little parenthesis because that kind of came in that little box of letters. Again, you could use letter stickers here as well. All of these could be letter stickers. Different fonts of letter stickers would be great. Just getting this all glued down. Home, sweet home. It's so pretty and cute when it's done. And I love the little thing on top. And then that's where, I'm going to go ahead and glue the heart down here. That's where a little candle will sit right on top that You Make Me Happy. But when the candle's taken off, it's all decorated. I'm just marking here where I'm going to put the glue so you don't see the glue from the backside as usual. And once I get this heart glued on, this project is complete. See how cute this looks with the little candle on top? It just, in with this ensemble of home decor. So that's why I wanted to add a little more extra to it. I hope you enjoyed all the projects I came up with today. Please leave me a comment down below. You know the drill. Let me know which one was your favorite. Please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps my channel to grow. And if you just wandered in here and it's your first time and you like what you saw here today, make sure before you click off, you hit that red subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on another video from me. Before I go, I'm going to leave you with one final thought. We look at stuff so much from our small view of the circumstance we are in, but the story that God is weaving together often differs from what our immediate vision allows us to see. We may not be able to figure it out or even understand any of it, but we have to keep following God, and we have to keep trusting that He will work out that circumstance for us. You have to keep your thoughts focused on Jesus to get you through. It often feels like there are times in our circumstances that God is nowhere to be seen, but I assure you that He is in your life and He is in your heart. You have to hold on to God's timing for His provision and have the willingness to wait in the emptiness that you may be feeling, and you have to be willing to trust Him through it all. You must hold on in spite of the loss and heartbreak, believing God's deliverance will come. Turn your thought to this: God, nothing good is happening. I see loss, devastation. I'm empty and in need, yet I will rejoice. I'm not going to lie, that's going to be the hard part, rejoicing in the moment of emptiness, like, seriously? But what else is there? Rejoicing allows you to focus your thoughts on Him so that you may find the strength in Him to carry you through. You have to choose to hold on to your faith. You have to choose to hold on to God, and you have to choose to rejoice. The joy of the Lord is your strength. I thank you for sharing your time with me, and I'll talk with you again soon. Bye.